Alrighty, here's a video review for Car Crash, Causality CA-09 Car Crash. The first of the new, not quite Stunticons from Fansproject. Obviously, this is the analog for Breakdown. And he's very, very cool. He's a nice little little car. I mean, he's little. I mean, they're smaller than average deluxes, but I like them. They're just the right size. Is how I describe them. They're not big, but they're just the right size. Just vroom, 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 vroom. I mean, like, I've been having a lot of fun doing that over the weekend. So yeah, they're not huge, but they're decent. Like, here he is next to Deluxe Jazz, and you can see he's a little bit of an off-white. Jazz is like this is United Jazz, which is this really bright white, and Breakdown is kind of a creamy off-white color that hasn't really shown up very well in pictures. So that's kind of nice. And just color-wise, I like him a lot. He's just a really neat mix of colors and some really cool stuff going on with him. Here he is next to his other counterpart currently out, T-Bone, which is the analog for Wild Rider. We'll get to him in a minute after we get done with this one. But yeah, so there's those two together. So to transform him into a robot, like I said, he rolls very well. You will notice, like, the front wheels roll freely. The back wheel is only the outer part of the wheel rolls, just to give his arm a little bit more solidity, and to have that function as an upper arm without compromising the structural integrity. And that's, I've seen some complaints about that, but I think that's fine. It doesn't prevent him from rolling. It doesn't really give anything, unless you're looking at it from underneath. You're not really going to notice it from outside. So not a big deal. So the first thing you want to do is pop off these guns, and depending on how far you push them on, like, I push them on just enough. Like, if you push this one all the way on, it makes his head kind of sit crooked. I push it on just enough so it doesn't push his head, and it makes it a little easier to get off. But you just pop them off the little pegs here, and then these two reassemble like this to form his pistol. So we'll set that off to the side. And transform the car, you start by grabbing the front and the back of the car and pulling it apart. Just like that. It comes apart right here at the waist. It extends, just to give you some room to work with the legs, because the legs peg in very right up against each other in things. He also comes with his bio card and instructions, which is just the box artwork with a little bio on the back, and then an instruction sheet. Just lest I forget, since they're sitting here. So once you have this out, you split the legs, and as you do, this panel right here kind of automatically opens. If it doesn't, there's a little tab here you can use to pop it open. But the leg spreads out, and you actually have to this is the part I don't like. You have to spread these pieces a little bit just to push this little peg here on his leg, pegs into this part on the knee joint, and same on the bottom. So you kind of have to click it up into place. It's not it's more concerning going back to car mode, because sometimes those things get really stuck, and you really kind of have to get in there and pry the leg apart to unhook them. So it's just like a minor concern. It seems to be able to take it, and you're not stretching it a whole lot. It just feels like you're going to mess it up. It's just enough to make me uncomfortable. But it works. Like, functionally, it works just fine. It's just, like I said, it's just weird. Pull this out, snap it up into there, like that. And here's the tricky part with the feet. You want to you have to kind of you pull the whole thing out like this in order to get this piece to fold over that corner of this piece. Then you flip this out, and once that piece is over, this piece can flip freely, and you won't end up nicking that corner. If you try to force it, you'll end up bending and chipping this corner and making it look weird in car mode. So you just want to be careful there. And then here, you just lift up the hood of the car, and this wheel kind of automatically pulls in, and then you just push it down. The wheel should tuck up there into the leg. And that's just a neat little transformation element. I like it. And again, make sure you get this slightly crooked a little bit so you can continue pushing this past that corner. As you can see, like right there, it's real tight right there. And if you don't give that enough clearance, you're going to end up gouging that plastic. And then once that's done, and again, just flip the wheel up, push it up in there, tuck it back away. And there's the lower half of his body done. Really elegant, neat-looking leg transformation. Just a couple places to be careful with. And then top up here, it's really pretty simple. You just unpeg all of the panels here on the top of the car. Just pull them out to the side. Just like that. That frees his arms up. This panel can flip down onto his back. And then you just extend the arms. When you collapse back to car mode, also the hands are on ball joints. They do like to pop off a little bit there. But they snap right back on. When you go back to car mode, and we just have a bicep swivel. That's random. You push them up, and they tend to want to stop right around here. And you want to take sure you make some pressure and make sure to snap that all the way up. That little tiny millimeter of difference does make a huge difference when trying to peg it all together in car mode. So push it to where it naturally stops, and then put your thumb right here and just make sure to snap it up that last little bit. You can kind of get it to do it while you're massaging it into car mode, but it's way easier if you just make sure that's snapped in place in the first place. Elbow joint. And then collapse the waist back together. And then these panels kind of rotate out to sit on the outside of the wheels. And there is breakdown in robot mode. And like I said, of the two so far, he's my favorite. I know a lot of people aren't real big on drag strip and dead end, or I can't remember what they're called. High tolerance, or I can't remember, downshift, or I can't remember what they're called. We'll have to look up the names for the other two. But I quite like the dead end design. But I think Breakdown is going to end up being my favorite of them all because he really is quite cool. And again, a real quick size comparison with United Jazz here. You can see he is smaller. He's very much smaller than a regular old Deluxe. And here he is with Prime Smokescreen to get you an idea of a modern Deluxe sensibility. So they're not huge, but like I said, they just feel right. They feel like the right size, because if you remember, like the original Stunticons, the cars were, the individual members were a little smaller than Deluxes. They weren't, or the Deluxe cars, they were smaller components than the others, and despite that, it's Fansproject. They're about the same size as the other Causality members, and I should have grabbed one of them as well. But a little bit taller than I think Swindle, but they're just feel right. They just feel like they're the right size figures. Where they've got ball joint shoulders and then a hinge up here. There's the ball joint right at the shoulder and then this hinge right here. Ball jointed head. We got an elbow hinge, an elbow swivel, or a bicep swivel. Ball jointed hands, although the way they snap on, they really just lets them rotate. They don't have a huge range of motion there. But you've got a waist swivel. You've got ball joint hips. You've got a thigh swivel there. Swivel knees. Ball jointed feet. So you've got your ankle tilts. And then even the toes can point and fold for a little support in certain positions. So, all in all, very posable figures, very nice, and I'm really happy with them. We'll do a size comparison with him and T-Bone in T-Bone's video review, just because it makes it a little easier for size comparisons without having to transform everything back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth behind the scenes. But yeah, I'm really happy with him. I'm looking forward to the rest of the set, especially now that we've seen Menasor in his combined mode. Both illicitly and legitimately, now with that new picture with his sword, which looks kind of cool. And it looks like it breaks down into a smaller sword for Motormaster. So yeah, actively looking forward to the rest of these guys. I've been super psyched for these guys since I saw the prototypes at TFCon last year, and it's nice to finally have that actual toys in my hand. They're really cool. So yeah, there it is, Causality 09, the first of the new not Stunticons. Can you see his face? This looks so dark. Get up close on his face here. There we go. Look at that. He looks cool. I love his orange face. So yeah, there he is. Causality CA-09 car crash. Let me focus that again. Dun 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 dun.